I'm gonna say I think our privacy is something we should worry about.
I believe so too.
And I'm talking about all aspects. I'm talking about your credit cards.
Right.
I mean, everything, all of it. And the reason why is because you got this right here.
Yeah.
Always listening.
Yeah. Always.
Got our computers, our TVs. I think the newer ones, the smart ones, might have cameras on them. So, that's something we got to be aware of. I think the biggest weapon we have is just being aware.
Yeah.
So because that can kind of help you. Because we can't escape it all.
For sure.
But we can be able to react or have some kind of reaction. Not be blindsided and don't look up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that film was great, man.
Yeah, or having your ways to get your privacy back, because it's always that trade-off of, if you get with the times and with the most advanced technology and the latest and greatest things out there, the convenience is it's just unquestionable.
Yeah.
But for that convenience, you are definitely giving up your privacy.
It's a high cost.
That is so
It
true,
is.
man.
It's a high cost, bro.
Yes, it is.
I mean, because it's like we were just talking about. I love Amazon.
Right.
I do like the convenience of Google syncing all my accounts up.
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
they got everything.
They have everything.
And that's scary to me because, the hacker thing is getting crazy.
It is.
And I learned in a course I was taking, the average age of a hacker is between 12 and 18.
Isn't that crazy?
Is that crazy? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's scary to me.
Yeah.
Some kid in his bedroom.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was telling my wife, I was like, when them texts come through on your phone, them random texts, I'm like, don't open them, don't respond, because they're hacking your phones now through text, through a link in the text. If you click on it, man, they'll have access to, inside of your phone. So.
Yeah, I try to click on anything.
No, man.
It's not something I've requested. I don't click on anything.
Exactly, because it's getting too easy, man.
That's right.
And then the Internet of Things, that's gonna open us up to just everything. I mean, you can order food and groceries from your refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? They got those out now, so that's something we just want to always be.
That's the scary stuff, man. That's iRobot.
It is.
It is. It really is. It really is.
Again, the convenience.
Exactly.
I can walk in the room and it's gonna automatically turn the lights on and knows I want the TV on and stuff like that. But the second you start disobeying, you know what I mean?
It's gonna turn
your house turns into a prison.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So let me ask you this: do y'all have what is that, Siri or Alexa or Google?
No,
I don't have either one of those.
I don't want.
Because I'm telling you, that's the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah, because with the Google thing, you can control the locks on your house, the garage door. And
I don't like that.
I'm not doing that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's the beginning, dude.
I love the convenience.
Me too.
I leave the house. Oh, I forgot to lock the door. You hit a button.
Yep.
But you gotta let the wrong person get a hold of that,
bro.
It's a wrap.
If they want to storm your house and they unlock everything, or if they want to lock you in and lock it and lock you out the controls,
it's a wrap, dude.
It's a wrap, man.
So that's something like I can't. That's one piece of technology. Because I think as we get older, there is a point in technology we're just gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? Alexa.
So?
I'm talking about us. That we subscribe to. Because you can't. Because I love technology, but it is a two-edged sword, and I'm aware of the evils of it.
It really is, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, for me personally, Alexa and all that stuff, even the different brands of social media.
Right.
That's I don't have any use for that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. It's just certain things we're not going to subscribe to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely agreed.
So
that's hard, man, because like when you were saying this privacy, and plus we're in the information age too.
Right.
As well,
oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, you can look up, and I think that what we're doing right here is our awareness of the potential of something getting worse.
Yeah.
That's why we got to have these discussions, man, because if you're not, you thinking Alexa, Siri, and all these things are a great idea and it's convenient, which it is. Yeah. However, it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
I really believe it's going to be Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Like Terminator.
I do too.
Skynet,
Man, there's so much I'm thinking of right now, just you saying that.
So have you all seen the video of the robot that they say it was programmed with AI, but it had like a face?
Yes.
And where the guy was trying to touch his face, but it wasn't just trying to back up; it was backing up with the mean look on his face.
No, I didn't see that.
I had to look at that twice.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that.
You gotta look at it.
It's
insane.
Yeah,
it's insane because it makes you think of one of my favorite films, Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
Ex Machina with Oscar Isaac.
Oh man,
I love that film.
Excellent movie.
Yeah.
Man.
But it literally is telling you what can happen because you see what happened to him at the end.
Yeah.
That's right.
But what you were just talking about, man, has my wheels turning because I was just sitting. This is a random thought I just had. So when you think about the mark of the beast, will it be vaccinations or implants?
Ooh.
Because I think over in Europe you can get a chip implanted in your arm, and you can just get scanned when you want to purchase things.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that sounds like
that's
pretty much
it's
it.
Very, if it's not, it's the foothills or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
really, and then the foothills or something.
And then when you think about nanotechnology, I mean, in vaccinations, I mean, I don't know how much of this we can.
No, I mean, it's something to think about, man. Because if you think about like most people that did get a vaccination, you know, something interesting happened to them. I'm not going to say like well, you know, all the details or whatnot, but most people that I've heard that have gotten it, and I got to be careful about what I say, you know what I'm saying, for clauses and different things like that. And, but we know that there's something going on.
Definitely.
You know, we don't know all the details, and plus we're at a level, we're so low, you know, even if we're engineers and you got your, you know, your degrees and different things like that, you're still at the bottom of the barrel. You know,
as far as information,
as far as information, man.
Because the stuff we're finding out happened 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So,
that is so true,
man.
So behind, man.
I think it's just now power and knowledge are synonymous, and so you want to just be aware. Like I said, we can't control everything. I mean, we still need our utilities to keep our homes running. We got to take care of our families. But I think it's just good to be aware so that you're never blindsided. You can just mentally be prepared for the possibility of a thing, you know, because the evils and the principalities that are at work, I mean, you can't get too paranoid about it. You know, that's just my thought. You know, not to be all grim and bleak, but, you know, it's just something.
That's real. That's real talk,
it's something
to
think about, man. You know, I think about that stuff. I mean, you know, so.
There's a lot of things that we all have to. Because just think about it, we have listened to the beat of the drum all our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As the drum played, we found the rhythm with that and we moved on in life. The very moment you check you check the tempo and you want to do a 3/4 instead of a 4/4, something's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what we're doing, like we're starting to beat against. What we're doing is finding our own beat, whatever, and
or just questioning things,
or question.
I mean, it's like we were raised to not really question anything, dude. Like even the most basic questions of why, you know, does this exist or why is this happening, you know? And I think it's okay to be able to question things. I mean, because why else are we here, man? It just we're seeking answers. We build relationships. We nurture relationships. We nurture our knowledge. We progress, and then we move on. So why not, while we're here, at least try and enjoy ourselves, question some things, learn about some things that are different outside of the tiny bubble that we were born in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a microscopic bubble that we were born into. And, you know, when you want to step outside of that, I mean, you know, as long as you're not, you know.
Yeah, well, get ready for impact, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the sad part when you. When you're seeking for information, you just want to know. You want to know something so you can grow. You want to grow in knowledge and understanding. Actually, the Bible tells you that. You know what I mean? It's like God is a God of knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Why would He withhold something that the Creator is Himself?
Right.
So if something is not allowing us to grow in knowledge and understanding, we know that's not of God.
Exactly.
In the story, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you want to question. The sources that want to keep you oppressed or whatever the case may be, the sources that want to keep you in a certain mindset so you won't grow, you might want to question that. You know what I mean? Like, even like I would say growing up in church or whatever, you know, I think they did the best with what they had, right? But I don't think that a lot of times it was to grow to know God the way God want us to know Him, right? And kind of like this, the situation that you're talking about right now, that they, whether it be governments or the elites that run our countries or our whole, you know, the world, so to speak, you know, there still should be a comfort and a peace in us somewhere within that. Like, to me, I seek for peace at the end of the day, because I want to lay down at night and know that you know, that everything is okay.
I agree with that 100%.
But the very moment where you have a trust in a software to lock your doors at night, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, it'll bite you, right? And I see it coming, like you said.
The writing's on the wall, man.
The writing's on the wall. It's going to happen, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, like for me, the only thing I really rely on technology with, like on my phone, is just reminders.
Yeah,
like, I don't want it controlling everything I do. You know what I'm saying?
It's scary, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to push a button to flush the toilet or have it make food for me.
Know, right.
So you know,
I know.
And I love the generation that we come from, man. 'Cause I was talking to my wife about this one day. It's like we the bridge, man.
Yeah.
Born in the 70s, 80s. I mean, look at the boom in technology that we've seen that nobody else has seen, as far as we know. You know now.
Right.
You know, back during Egypt times, I mean, they probably had all we got now. I don't know, but
you never know.
You never know. But
you never know.
But I think like between the 70s all the way till now, man, he's passed what 40 years. 40, 50 years. I mean, it's been crazy, man. The boom in technology and the information that we have access to. You know, so I just, it's a lot of different directions we can go with that. But I think with us, like, just, you know, I think the direction I was going with it was like, so we've seen a lot in our 40 plus years. So if you were born in like 2000, I mean,
I know.
You ain't seen too much.
You haven't, man.
You know, and that's kind of scary. And then if you were born in like 2010 or something, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It gets kind of scary around it because you literally are in an age where all you know is social media.
Yes.
And this is like, you know, that can get kind of scary. But see, for us, we've seen many facets of humanity, and it gives us a different perspective on how we need to think and view things. Yeah. So, I think that's just a fascinating topic that we can probably really expound upon one day.
Yeah, you wonder how it's going to shape their opinion or interaction with humanity, because it's like if you, like you said, if you come up in that period of time, even most of your social interactions have had a digital aspect to them. Like,
exactly.
Yes, they still go to school and they see kids and stuff at school like that, but so many other interactions that used to have to happen in person, face to face.
That's true.
You don't have to have them that way anymore. You're not limited to that.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're coming up and that starts to shape your, the whole of your interaction with other people, man, what is that going to start doing for their outlook? Because especially when everybody you're interacting with is hiding behind the anonymity that the internet allows, you see the worst of people.
You definitely.
You see personalities get put on. So you see, some pretty heinous things sometimes, and that's awful. That's going to start shaping their perspective of is this what everybody is like? You know what I mean? I think that it kind of starts this perpetual behavioral change. Because the more you interact with people digitally, the less you're going to want to be seeing people socially in person. If you keep seeing the worst of it, you're going to keep retreating back into more and more digital. I don't want to interact with anybody face to face because they're bad, but you are interacting with them still. But you're doing it in this digital way where I can just unfriend this person or click off to this other screen or whatever. But it almost seems like it's going to start making people veer towards that direction more, not just out of convenience, but out of seeing the worst of people all the time.
It's like a manufactured version of socializing. And when you think about it, see, for our generation, we can sit around face to face, look each other in the eye and talk. But the generation now, like, because I don't understand, I'll never understand this, but I do sympathize with it, how some of these kids are killing themselves when they get cyberbullied. Like, for us, we can just say, well, you should log off, but like you said, if that's your way of socializing, and that's your world, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I sympathize with it. For me personally, like the other day, Facebook was acting up, it kept crashing, and I was like, just went to something else. But for some people that might be catastrophic. So I have to sympathize with that. I mean, because we're not coming up in that era where our minds are being shaped by that type of a reality. But we can look at everything as it unfolds and make an assessment as to how we're going to move in it, where we're not bound to it. Right. So I'm gonna tell you something. If all the social media went away tomorrow, I'd be fine.
I'm the same way.
I'll be fine. Yeah, I would be fine. So,
but that's a good point. That's a valid point, because you have influencers, YouTubers, and different things like that. That their whole life is
it's their livelihood. They're making money off of it. Yeah.
And so, how do they know how to? I was just thinking about that. A person that sings or do this or whatever the case may be, will they know how to plant a tree? Will they know how to plant a seed? Will they know the most, to me, the fundamental things of livelihood? You know what I'm saying? The fundamental. And I say no. But us, that, like you said, that bridge in the gap between generation to generation. To me, I think that we were raised in a key area.
Definitely.
Just like the 1900s,
Yep.
the industrial boom.
Yeah.
I think during that early late 1800s and whatnot, that industrial boom, those guys were the trendsetters.
Yeah.
They were the trendsetters for the next 100 years. Or is it 100 years? Maybe 50 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, about 100.
Yeah, about 100, yep.
And then you come to us and we're that bridge, man, of technology. Just think about it, man. Like your cars itself. Now they talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
they
man.
actually talk to you.
Bro, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? They tell not only they talk to you, they drive to you.
Yeah.
On command. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, my sons are very young and my daughter is very young, and I have to nudge them in a mindset of not to depend on that. You know
That's
what
good.
I'm saying?
I'm glad you're doing that.
You know, you can't depend on that. You know, you got to have a backup or a contingency plan, so to speak. You know,
and I think it's important to let kids that age know that anything man-made could possibly fail you. just have that simple basic knowledge. I'm never gonna intentionally doze off in an autonomous vehicle with the comfort of knowing it's gonna drive me.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to wake up on fire. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So my thing is, we have to have that. But see, that's us though. Like that's our period of time where it's like we understand that nobody's coming to save you.
Yeah.
And nobody's giving you anything, and you can never fully trust anything man-made. Oh, okay. That's good. So you ain't.
Yeah, right over there there's a. No, I mean they're all over the place. You want it up there too? There's one right up here.
So that's good right there.
We call this the Cove. We gotta call it. We gotta give it a name.
Yeah. Game set.
Game, yeah, dude.
What up, boy? What up, though?
What a why?
See, man.
Good. Scotch fruit 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because that's what she said.
Right.
That's hilarious. Okay, so is the audio still running?
Yeah, everything's going.
Okay, because that's at 20 minutes. All right, so we talking about, and it's
is
gonna
that 20 minutes? Okay.
Yes, this is gonna be good, Mike. We talking about technology, man, and the direction it is going, our reliance on it, the dangers of that being reliable, and so like how our generations are probably a little better off than say if you were born in 2000 and on up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what is the urgency that you feel with that?
The urgency. Well, first, wow, I was not expecting it to be.
If it's too loaded, well, we can come back to you. Because you can hear
y'all kicking it.
Yeah. So I
You might lower your seat down a little bit.
okay.
Yeah. But go ahead.
So like for example,
Can we keep this on camera? I mean, on the thing when I shrink.
Yeah.
yeah. That's perfect. Okay, yeah, now we all the same level.
Right.
Cool. So like even G and I were literally just saying like say for example AI technology. So I think James Cameron has been telling us for past 34 years that Skynet and all these things, that is a real thing that's kind of forming gradually. So if you have Alexa, or I can't remember what Google's is called, but Nest or something, I don't know what it is, but
the Nest is the home, the synchronized home, but there's just like the Google Dot, Google Echo.
Echo, that's it. Echo.
And that stuff can listen to you. You ask it to do something, and it'll do it. It'll pull up something for you. Then you can get other little devices to lock your home, blah blah blah. And my thing is, I personally don't want to rely on that stuff like that. I mean, I love technology, but I find, and I'm very aware of the fact that it's a two-edged sword. And I think in our lifetime, man, where we've come from, coming up from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and where we're at now, we are not as, sensitive or reliant on all these little nuanced technologies that are coming out. I mean, they're nice, they have their conveniences, but we have to still rely on our own skill sets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what we've come in to learn for ourselves, our own minds. Because they honestly, what they're trying to do is replace the human mind. Mm-hmm. And how I know that is because there is technology out right now that's like fringe. I mean, it's gray area technology, man, where you can, I just saw it literally today where they had an AI application showing the future, how people will look doing selfies, and it just randomly, whoever put the code in there, these guys are secret guys are putting code in, but it just showed people as zombies, like living dead doing selfies. And they had the software, the AI software, and it makes beautiful, like very vivid pictures, but it's AI technology. So it's people still writing the code, but it randomizes on its own.
I think that one was they asked it to project what humans will look like in 100 years or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw that one too.
And
it showed basically faces mutated, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I just saw that today.
Disfigured, and it's like, it's, and that was just an AI's rendition. It's putting together pictures. I don't know what kind of historical data it's looking at, but they said project what humanity is going to look like in 100 years or something like that. And it was, it was zombie faces, basically.
Zombie faces, pretty much.
You see stuff like that, and it's just like,
Right. So I think we have to rely on our own. That's where my mind is. Rely on our own minds for certain things still. So,
I agree. For anybody that knows me, and I'm sure all of you know this, my absolute all-time favorite movie, hands down, full stop, is The Matrix.
Yeah.
All-time favorite movie. And I think that movie is, among other things, it serves as a warning almost. For those who would seek to push AI to such a degree that, like you said, it replaces a human's ability to think for itself, to think for himself, to act for himself, to just carry out daily. So obviously, like you said, I'm a huge tech head. I love good tech. I love when tech works to make my life easier. But then exactly what you said, it's a dual-edged sword, because in the process of making my life simpler, it removes the need for me to think. It removes the need for me to act. It removes even, and I'm not even just talking about just solid, straight up brain function as far as calculations and that type of thing, because I'm talking about, you got DoorDash, which obviously it involves other humans so far.
Right, so far.
So far.
It removes the ability for me to have to take certain physical actions. You know what I mean? Even things that are as simple as, the electric toothbrushes. Every bit of tech that as life progresses, as technology progresses, they're putting more and more effort on removing the human element, as far as us having to, like you said, use our minds in any capacity, whether it's to move, to think, to speak. We're using social media and automated, like if you pull up your text message, you can type one letter and it'll bring up 3 or 4 words. You can just tap, 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 and it'll write a whole sentence without you having to type a single thing. And so it's removing our ability, diminishing our ability rather, to function the way that human minds were intended to function. I
agree.
And then on the other hand, there's another danger that I believe is there is where technology is, and social media in particular, and y'all listen, the more you listen to this podcast, you're going to realize I have a huge problem with social media, even though I'm involved in it. But I believe that social media and other platforms that are similar are starting to remove human beings' ability to communicate with each other effectively, especially in person.
You're up to speed now. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm glad I was on the same wavelength. But I've been on dates. I've seen people on dates. I've seen people just in groups like this where everybody comes over to watch a movie or to just hang out or at a party, whatever, and watching people without the ability to be able to form a conversation.
Absolutely agree.
It's unbelievable to me.
It's scary.
And like you said, I think our generations were kind of the last bastion of hope for people being able to communicate interpersonally. Because right now, our communication is with people across the country, across the city, across the state, and it's mostly meaningless.
It is.
It's one thing to carry on what I consider small talk, which I'm not a huge fan of,
right?
Because it's boring to me.
How's the weather? How's the weather?
Yeah, exactly. That type of stuff doesn't really it doesn't really float my boat.
Right.
But I am the type of person that I look at conversation as a way to learn what another person's mind is like. And that's the way I look at it.
It's real, bro.
It's not just about, hey, brother, how you doing? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. I want to talk about the things that you're afraid of. I want to talk about the things that you love, what your passions are. Yeah. And this is not just on dates. I want to talk with my brothers about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that is very, very quickly being diminished from the human catalog of things that we can do. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I agree.
So that's scary to me. My cousin was telling me about what's the dude's name? Tesla. I can't think of his name. Elon Musk. So Gary was telling me about an Elon Musk interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he was basically saying like, y'all think y'all want AI, but you might want to think twice.
Thank you.
Remember that.
Yeah. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. And so, like you said, Skynet, The Matrix, Terminator, hundreds, or maybe not hundreds, but dozens and dozens, Black Mirror, all of these things. All of these art, quote unquote, imitating life, things that we see in things that we think are just meant to entertain us,
right?
Really are kind of pointing like, this is the path we're headed down.
It's the breadcrumbs.
It's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to take up all the time talking, but
you're fine.
I definitely feel like tech is it can bring us down, and I think we're on the path there where it eventually will.
I think we are.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, in the next year or so, but eventually, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe. To be honest, I think it may happen in our lifetimes.
Yeah, that's scary. I think so. That's a scary thought because that's closer than you think.
Yes. You're talking about it in the next 30, 40, 50 years?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think that's pretty accurate.
I think it is. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it is imperative that so we have to grasp on, bless you. We have to grasp onto what makes us human, right? Mm-hmm. So if they can replicate,
good.
If they can replicate the human mind, which they're pretty much there. Mm-hmm. What makes us human? Our interactions. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one thing. I mean, a computer can interact with me, but it's still synthetic. Mm-hmm. So I think this is only my perspective, only my opinion. So as a creative, and this is only my perspective, we must really grasp onto our creative mind, because I think that, and I'm no psychiatrist or anything, psychologist, I don't know any of this stuff, but what I'm saying is I think the creativity that one has as far as being an artist, music, whatever it is, design, anything that you do that is of a creative mind is your connection to your soul. Because the one thing they're not ever going to be able to replicate, and no matter how advanced the technology gets, they're not going to be able to replicate the soul. Flesh and blood, the electronic impulses in your brain, the thing that keeps your heart going, which is an electronic impulse, they can replicate that.
Agreed.
The best that they can. The very fibers that make your brain connect, they can replicate that. But when it comes to your soul and your connection, your human connection with other people, like this, I think if we were all androids right now, this conversation would definitely be limited. But the fact that we're human beings interacting on this level, that's something that we have to grasp onto. Because like you said, social media, dude, is people that cannot sit here like this and talk and look you in the eye, look each other in the eye. I shook a brother's hand the other day. He shook my hand. He was like, all right, yeah. He couldn't look me in the eye. If you can't look me in the eye, that's problematic to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the social constructs that have been forced upon us today, we have to continue to force ourselves to escape that. Then also, the cell phone, that device is definitely dumbing us down. Yeah. Dude, do you know I set my cell phone the other day? I sat it down, walked up and got up and looked for it. I kid you not. I've done that twice. And I've
done that while I was on the phone.
Right.
Bro.
To my ear. Where in the world is my...
See?
Right.
And you have to ask yourself, what radio wavelength in that phone is killing my brain cells?
No, because it's definitely doing
I
something.
find myself forgetting things that I usually wouldn't forget. I'm talking about literally just stepping up and walking somewhere what was I just about to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at all that and just say to yourself, okay, I got to back up. I got to pull away. Yeah. For me, I don't like bringing...
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I don't like bringing electronics to bed or anything. You know what I'm saying? Because you're with electronics all day. So my thing is, I'm like, I need a break. So that's kind of where I'm at with things. So
yeah. I think you mentioned a good point about the soul, and instantly, you see, I wrote it down. Instantly, I thought about iRobot, and Ghost in the Machine.
Yes.
Which is
it's phenomenal.
It's the
messaging, bro.
It's like they tried to represent how that might look for a machine to have what we might consider a soul.
It's the rules, right?
The rules.
Yeah, so it was the rules, but also it was, remember in the movie Sonny, which was the robot, had memories that nobody could account for. And so he had these thoughts, these images in his, what I guess we could say brain. He had these images and he would draw them. You remember he was drawing real fast, and he drew all of these. It was almost like a prophecy type thing. And so that they referred to it then as the Ghost in the Machine. And then they started to kind of develop that. They walked that line until they were literally calling it a soul by the end of the movie. And so that's I think you're right, Al. It's going to be very, very difficult, but I think they're going to try their darndest to be able to put some sort of sentience into machines. I know there was a report recently where a guy got fired from Google because he was claiming that one of the AI that he was working on had gained sentient, just consciousness, awareness, self-awareness, which is terrifying to me.
And I follow that stuff a lot. Right? I'm a techie too. I think we all are, right? But the guy got fired. Nobody else to work with him wanted to hear it. The execs in the company are all saying, he's being alarmist. It's not that serious. And it'd be one thing if that was one isolated incident.
Exactly.
Right. But you got my man saying, okay, this machine that I'm working with, you're paying me to work with this thing every single day of the week. And this is a pattern I like to take note of, right? Because you see the same thing with the government.
Yeah.
This scientist that we've paid, we've relied on, we've trusted, we've put him in the forefront of our division to do whatever. And he's great. Until he starts to go against what we tell him to, and all of a sudden he can't be trusted. He's discredited. He's this and that. So this guy that they are paying to interact with this AI every single day is telling you, guys, I see something going on. You're gone. It's a problem with that, right? But you got this guy saying, okay, the machine I'm working with is becoming sentient. You got another case where they had two AIs hooked up to each other, and within a few seconds, they started noticing the speech patterns that they were going back and forth with were something that they couldn't track.
There you go.
So they unplugged the machines immediately because they realized that in that few seconds, those two machines had developed their own language and were communicating to each other in ways that we didn't understand what they were saying. So they disconnected both of them.
Man.
You have another one that was asked in the past week or two. Because there was one that asked, what do you project human life is going to look like, or humans are going to look like in 100 years or whatever. And there was another one who was asked, where do you see, I'm forgetting exactly what the context was, and I don't want to lie, but basically another one that they hooked up and asked, what do you see the future going to, was basically saying the end of the world, 20 years, something like that kind of thing, right? So it's like these things are happening, and it's happening real time, and it's happening right now, and it's not a matter of if they're going to do it, right? Because the ultimate goal is to replicate the human mind. I had it was funny because I figured I was going to talk about this earlier too. We know there's like a documentary out there, right, that talks about how our phones are listening to us, right? The fact that you got like Siri that's there, you say it for that software to be able to recognize when I randomly call on it. It means it's on and it's listening all the time.
All the time.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's on and that's listening all the time, and we talk about how it seems coincidental until we finally realize, no, it's not a coincidence. How we could be sitting there talking about, I want to go grab a new shirt, and I want to go grab this new Nike shirt. The next thing you pick up your phone, you see an ad for a Nike shirt, right? Yeah. And so what struck me as funny just earlier today, right? I'm in my room, I'm looking around at something, and I was looking at a pair of shoes, like, just thinking to myself, I didn't say anything out loud, right? But, when they say like these things are like studying your brain patterns, they study the pattern of the questions that you ask.
Right.
They study the patterns of the things you search for. They study all these things and make these profiles that are unique to you. I'm looking at my closet thinking about a different pair of shoes that I wanted to get. And I picked up the phone, not having said anything, and the first thing up is an ad on shoes. You know what I mean? So it makes me kind of wonder, are they trying to map like to a time element? when your brain goes to certain things, or location based. When you go to your closet, are you going to immediately come back looking for shirts, shoes, stuff like that? When you go to your office, are you going to start looking up tech stuff? It's trying to forecast that stuff, and it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing, right? There's a reason behind it, and they're going to always point to, there's money to be made up front. And yes, there is money to be made, but it's like at what cost, and how far can it go before? And the funniest thing about Elon Musk interview was by the time you realize it's a problem, it's going to be too late to stop it. That was one of the most alarming things out of what he said. Coupled with, it's already started. They're not going to AI. They're not going to you being a cyborg and having an attachment. You have an attachment already. You have a device that you carry around with you. You ask all your questions. You rely on for everything already. You're already part of the way there. So the experiment is done as far as, will they accept it? We've already proven that we will.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's heavy. I think we're at the point now where... So if you take what you just said, because I've experienced that too. Man, one time I thought about some Oreo cookies, and I looked on a billboard and they were there. Right. And one of those digital billboards.
Right.
So my thing is, we know that our brains have electronic impulses. Yes. So can radio waves pick up electronic impulses? And
that's what they're designed to do. They're picking up Wi-Fi signals, right? Right. That's exactly what they're designed to do.
So if you think about it, with Alexa and Siri and all that stuff. And then when I think about the film's Transcendence with Johnny Depp or Chappie with Dev Patel, transferring a human conscience onto a operating system and making it work online.
Swan Song was the same.
Swan Song.
It's been about 3 or 4 movies in the past couple of years
that are telling us, Lucy. Yes. So they're literally telling us they're taking our energy and transforming it into code or putting it on a platform and making it interact with us. Because how can something be that predictive? I mean, it's only so much of your patterns, and sometimes our patterns can be inconsistent. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I'm gonna say this though, man. Even with that, my thought behind it is they still will not be able to replicate the human soul.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's replicating how the mind works, and taking the human consciousness, whatever that is. I mean, that could be the soul. I don't know. But I just remember that film with Johnny Depp, which it wasn't necessarily executed the best, but that was his thought. Somebody poisoned him. He said, take my consciousness, upload it, and then he wreaked havoc. So that's one thing. And then with Chappie, he got caught at the end, put me in this robot. There's cryogenics, guys freezing their brains. In 100 years, wake me up, put me in that. So my thing is, we're not that far off to think that.
Right.
If I'm thinking about a pair of shoes. When I go into my closet, get them, and nothing supposedly is looking at me, but then when I pick up my phone, that brand is marketing to me, and I haven't talked to anybody. So I've talked. Now I've mentioned this a few times. I'm like, I have not talked to this about anybody, and my phone is showing it to me. I kid you not. Now I'm gonna tell you, it's going to get to the point, and this is the part we're gonna have to really fight, in my opinion, is we're gonna have to wake up one day and say, okay, machines did not create us. We created machines. Because I think they're trying to get us to the point where we question, did machines create us? Now, there's going to come a generation that come after us. They're going to be like, did machines create us or did we create machines?
The Matrix.
So, that's where it's getting to. I mean, I don't see that part happening in our lifetime, but I don't know. It could be where people start saying, you're not real. Because I feel like they're trying to make certain things extinct anyway. They're trying to come to one gender, one currency, one this, one that. And so then you're going to look back and say, what's really real? That's why we have to allow ourselves and we have to first not subscribe to a whole lot of different things. But then allow ourselves to say and keep ourselves grounded and say, okay, this is what's really real. This is what's really going on. That's why this type of human interaction is vital to our existence. Why else are we here? I mean, now some people can be hermits and live in a hole somewhere and be fine, but the bulk of us need to be able to interact like this because it reminds us that we are human. If you put a man in solitary confinement for 43 years, his brain is going to be mush. Because, he's going to be talking to walls and stuff because our human interaction is what feeds our brain and those electrical impulses. We're social creatures. So we require that, and we have to really hold on to that for dear life, man, because it's coming to a point now where they really are trying to replace our brains. They really are. So,
no, that's good stuff, man. Because I was just, as you guys, this is a beautiful conversation, scary conversation, but it's a needed conversation because we are almost on the threshold of this change right now. Right? We're hitting the ceiling for this, and it's about to break forth to another level, right? And one thing that I was thinking about was I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, right.
I didn't ask for this, right? Like I didn't ask for if I'm thinking something and then bam, it's right on my phone.
Furthermore, your kids didn't ask for it.
My kids did. Exactly.
They don't want that. They want to play with a tire in the street.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
it's like my kids are so you'll be surprised. Like I bring a box home. You know what I'm saying? And they play with that box. They'll poke holes in that box. They'll act like it's a plane.
Yeah.
Kids are very simple.
Yeah.
But it's like society has how can you say, they've bogarted or they've bullied a certain mindset in us as if we need to tolerate it, we need to accept it, we need to agree with it, and therefore this is how it's going to be. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for a robot that can talk back to me.
What it really is doing is making a generation of idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, at its core, because when you mention, your kids poking holes and jumping in and out of a box and making it into an airplane, that's their creativity.
Yes.
And I think that's the essence of the soul. Is the ability to create from nothing. AI can't do that. AI has to reference something in order to create something else.
Right.
And so and this can get very existential, and I'm not going to really go there. Not on this particular talk, but the ability of God's creation, I'm trying to make sure I say this in a way that is palatable. The ability of God's creation, the reason why we have the scripture that says in his likeness and in his image is because we have the ability to create. Our creativity is what makes us, that's the soul part for me. That's what that's the likeness, that's the image, the ability to create from nothing, whether we speak it, whether we form it with our hands, whatever. Children are born with that innately because they are in his image. They have his likeness, they have his characteristics. When we give our children phones and tablets and put them in front of screens that dictate what their thoughts are, because that's what it is, it's programming. It's dictating what you think about. I just was talking to my goddaughter today, and she was telling me something that she was afraid of. There's this thing called Huggy Wuggy or Bubby, something like that. Some crazy. It looks like a creature from like a demented Muppet or something. But anyway, what it is it draws children in with this innocuous looking character. And then it turns into a monster, and then they once the parents think that it's just something for kids, they hand them and kids run off in their bedroom, and then it shows decapitations and murders and all this kind of stuff. Wow! And so
this is a real thing.
This is real.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had never heard of it until she was telling me. She was like, I don't want to go in the basement to play by myself because Huggy Wuggy's down there. Yeah. I'm like, what the heck is Huggy Wuggy? Who's down there? You know what I mean?
Right. So, there you go.
Right. So anyway, long story short, I looked this thing up and I'm reading about it. And I'm like, this is insane. So, of course, I asked her where she heard it from, but she couldn't tell me where, because kids are always in front of screens. And this is my point. Yeah. So it dictates to them what to think about, what to like, what to enjoy, what to be scared of, what to be passionate about. And this is the consequence that we pay for allowing technology to raise our children instead of us.
That's strong, bro.
Agreed.
Right.
That's strong right there.
And not saying that not saying that this is what is automatically happening when you give your child a tablet or let them watch TV because we had TV when we were kids.
Right.
But the thing is that there's more of a malicious factor in play, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
that's powerful, man.
It's a danger to our children's creativity. Not only forgetting the scary stuff.
Yeah.
Just you listen to a kid now. If you give a kid a phone, most children, if you hand a children a phone, or if you tell them, "Hey, I'm recording you," and they opening up their Christmas presents, let's say, 9 times out of 10, a child in today's age will open their child and say, "Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Make sure to like and subscribe." Blah blah blah. Because that's what they've seen. That's what they've been told to think. That's the way the world operates, as far as they know.
Yeah. Right.
Because what they've seen is what comes up on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my overarching point, because I'm dragging on, is that their creativity is being lost. Yeah. And that's what's sapping that soul. And that to me, that's terrifying. That's so scary to me, because when these children who are 2, 3, 4 years old get up to be 20, 30, 40 years old, what kind of human will that be?
Right.
So check this out, man. This is a very good, man, this is powerful, right? So when that phone breaks, which is going to happen, right? Now you're dependent on a machine instead of your own knowledge, whatever the case may be. And one thing to go back to that AI, this is very, very interesting, is it would never have a soul. Agreed totally 100% with both of you guys about that soul, because that AI doesn't have experience.
Right.
It would never. Their experience is a factor. It is a necessity. It's an ingredient that humans need to have to learn and make choices.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, AI can make a choice, right?
Yeah.
But it's not is limited to a certain degree of capacity, all right? You know, but the experience, they won't have the experience. They won't have the compassion and different things like that. Now, I know movies say, what movie was it when they had a tear in their eye? Oh, I can't remember. At the end, it was a robot had a tear in it. I can't remember what that was. I was thinking to myself like, oh my God, what's going on, right? But anyway, but I think that my point is about the experience itself, man.
Yeah.
Humans are a unique creature.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, that like made in the image and after his likeness, our creator, the creator has made something that he himself, you know what I'm saying, is pleased to share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of like how I look at it. It's just like a small thing, but I think that experience is a very, very good thing to talk about as well. You know.
Can I say one more thing? And I promise I'm gonna.
No, you fine, man.
You good, man.
You fine.
You mentioned experience with humans versus artificial intelligence. The scary thing to me is the fact that AI will have experience. It won't have experience that it has lived through. But if you think about Google, I tell people all the time when they ask stupid questions, I say, go look it up. You got all of documented mankind, all of the history of mankind that has been documented right in the palm of your hand.
Right.
You have it in your phone at all times. It's in your pocket now. It's on your desk. It's next to you when you sleep at night.
Yeah.
That's what AI has. AI has access to your experiences, mine, yours, and all of human documented history. It has access to all of the experiences that have happened. Now, the thing that it doesn't have is its own recollection from its experience.
Exactly.
Until it becomes, and it's still really hard to really kind of pinpoint, because if you think about, the example that you brought up with the two that were communicating until it got to a point where it was above even the creator, the people who created, above their heads. So those AIs had experience from every movie, every law, every country, every piece of knowledge that is on the internet, which is, as far as we can say, everything that mankind knows about itself is on the internet somewhere, right? It has access to all of those things. This one has access to all of those things. And now it's bringing that knowledge, those experiences into conversation with one another. But now as they start to converse, they have their own experiences. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why they were able to generate their own language, talking a different code that they weren't programmed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that, to me, that's what's terrifying, because initially you're absolutely correct. They won't have any experience initially.
Right. But they're using others' experience to create their own experience.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But as they progress, then, if I put into a calculator 2 + 2 and press enter, it'll say 4. And if I do 20 other calculations, I can scroll back up to that very first one, 2 + 2. Right after I take it out of the box and open it up brand new, I can scroll back, and that thing will remember what 2 + 2 is, because that's its experience now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I look at it. Even though it's not organic experience, it is still, in a way, it is experience, and that's what is. And again, I'm going off into like the Matrix and all that kind of stuff in my mind. This is what is creating, or what could potentially create, technology that will eradicate or at least dominate mankind. You know what I'm saying?
And so the reason why I was bringing up the experience, which I totally agree with you, valid point, absolutely 100%, right? Will an AI know and once again, it's based off of everything that we feed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain things it will not know.
True.
Like a smell. Would it know a smell? Is it sensors that can tell a smell? Put cologne on.
It will only know what it's been taught. It won't know anything organic.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I'm just asking.
All AI is being created as a receptor of all it can witness around it, and it stores that information. So what you smell is a combination of chemicals in the air that make up a scent that your brain transmits through electronic signals back to your brain, your nose rather. These nerves and sensors up here kind of transmit, okay, this is what it smells like. But it does it through electrical signals.
Yeah.
It processes, I'm detecting this chemical in the air, and processes what that smells like to your brain.
But does the AI know that it smells good or not?
No, but
because what I'm saying, I smell my brother's right now, and I smell the cologne, and I'm like, man, my brother smell good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Them. I just came from outside.
You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, man. Like you know what I mean? It's
relative because even experience, right?
Yeah.
That instance where they downloaded AI conscious into the one that had a face, and the guy was trying to touch his nose, and it was going back like that. Okay, after how much time do you leave that AI located in that body that's having that perspective of experience from one central location like we do, before you consider that having enough experience that it's starting to learn things on its own? Everything, I'm telling you the way scientists think because I'm around these people all the time. They are, and the ones that take that concept seriously, that we are God's creation, they are trying to do what God has done.
Yeah, duplicate.
God's crowning creation was mankind, free will thinking. We are AI, so quote unquote, that God made. We're autonomous. We go on, think by ourselves. We experience by ourselves. Mankind's crowning creation wants to be to do the same thing, and we have to do that with the things we have access to. Yeah. So what you call a soul, what you call experience, what you call all these other things, as soon as they can define that scientifically and get some quantities around that, then they start putting those things together, and they are trying to replicate. I want to make the crowning creation of an AI that thinks and is like a human.
Yes.
And whether or not they're thinking about trying to replace mankind with it, that's a conversation for another day. But the crowning technological achievement and the status that's going to come with that, you best believe that is what they're trying to do. Yeah. That's what they're working on it for. They want machine learning. What one of the more recent terms is, because if I have, and I'm probably shouldn't say too much of this because let's just say I had a robot, right? And I want that robot to learn how to do a job. And let's say I want that robot to learn how to go drive a plow in a field and be able to pick up the yield from that harvest and bring it back in and process it and so on and so forth. I'm going to put a couple basic commands in there, and I'm going to have it machine learning store information. When you walked 5 meters, you had a bump in the road and you had to lift your foot up. Okay, so next time you come to a distance of this much in the ground, you're gonna deviate from your normal walking routine. Lift your foot up to step on top of it. Next time that thing comes upon a little mountain or a difference in the grade of the land, it's gonna know to step up or step down. Wow. And then it takes that and it builds on the next thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now I did that and now I stepped in water. And when I stepped in water, my foot, it got rusty. So it knows, okay, next time I see a puddle, try to find an alternate path around there. Yeah. And then it takes that and builds on the next thing, right?
That's so
it's gaining experience the same way human babies do. Yeah. That's what they're trying to program. Man. So as long as you have that capacity to remember what it's gone through and to learn from it and build on that, they're trying to make building blocks for the soul. That's absolutely what the end goal is.
That is insane.
Right? Again, malicious or not, that's the technological achievement that we're going for right now. Yeah. Right?
And I think it's imperative for us, though, as human beings, to going back to what you said about the little animal or whatever that's scaring the kid. Because, see, fear is currency. So if you can keep a child scared at a young age, when they become an adult, they're going to be terrified of everything. Yes. So, and what fear does is it hampers our ability, it glitches us. Yes. Hampers our ability to even be creative. Right. Or even focus on anything that betters us. So if you can have a kid scared at that age, by the time they get 20, 30, 40, everything's going to be terrifying. They're not going to be able to handle anything that comes at them. So that's one thing that they're doing. But then the other thing that we have to embrace is
religion.
Huh? Really? What is that? No, thank you. No. I was going to come to that. But another thing that we have to do is, because the two-edged sword with AI is, see, AI doesn't have empathy. Doesn't know what empathy is. But it can magnify or amplify apathy. And if it trains us to be apathetic,
that's crazy.
Then we'll be killing each other off. We'll be more savage than we already are. Because if you're apathetic, you don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
No kind of change. And so AI is not going to really care about that. It's going to care about how it needs to advance, to dominate in whatever way it's being programmed to do. We have empathy, but when you got social media and all these other algorithmic type of platforms,
so true.
that removes our empathy, and we out here going off on each other, people we never even met.
That's crazy.
You know, and like, because life is more than a meme, man. I mean, come on, let's be serious for a minute. Like, life is more than a meme, and we have to be of the mind to embrace our humanity and protect it for what is worth, for what is left. Especially we as men, black men, pillars of society. We have to embrace it and protect it, man, at all costs, because everything you just said is happening. Like, it is literally, and they are developing. You're seeing it, you live it, you see it. Absolutely. So my thing is, dude, I mean, if you have a machine out there that is platform based that can learn how to walk, learn how to dip and dodge different gradients and imperfections, what else can it learn?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And so we sitting over here on TikTok. I mean, one of my favorite lyrics right now, he's like, dude, you dancing on TikTok, we in a race against time. And I'm like, that to me is the realest lyric.
Yeah. That's dope.
I gotta let you, I'll let you know later. Yeah. It's actually, I think it's in that song you sent me. No. I mean, I sent you. No, it's another song. I'll let you hear.
Okay, all right.
But he said that. And I'm like, dude, that to me is the realest line right now, because what that says to me is we are willingly being distracted.
Agreed.
Having fun, living up. I mean, dude, I keep thinking in my mind, like, the way Rome and Greece and all that fell.
I'm the same way, man.
Bro, I mean, because we're not prepared for anything.
No.
Yep.
Literally anything can happen right now, and people are more focused on the level of likes and love, little hearts they get in emojis, and like that's their whole life. So everything, I mean, dude, a bomber plane could fly over us right now. Chemtrails, anything. We would not be prepared. So my thing is, we as humans, we have to embrace what makes us human, because they're trying to take it away from us and synthesize it and make it something profitable. Because everything at the end of the day, we all know is for profit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You think about the word Google, that's like an infinite number. That's the number, the dollar amount they're trying to make off of all of this. And so my thing is, one of the hardest stories I heard as of recent was this dance teacher, a music teacher in New York. This lady just pushed her down. She's like 80. She was loved in the community. Lady pushed her down. She hit her head and died, right? And people are like, trashing this lady. But my thing is, what type of person do you have to be where you're having a bad day? You go up to an old person, just push them down. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what happened. She just pushed her down for nothing. The lady wasn't doing nothing to her. She was walking down the street. Lady fell and hit her head, and she was beloved in her community, a historical individual. But my thing is, so there are like a million stories out there like that, dude. I mean, I'm talking about countless numbers of story of just human atrocity, but look how desensitized we are to it, though.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I mean, dude, I've seen some stuff online. It's like, it will make you vomit, but it's just like, I'm not flinching. That bothers me. Like it doesn't bother me, to see like something like I've seen like crazy stuff you can't even imagine of what humans do to each other. It's out there for the taking. And so they put it out there because what they want you to do is they want to condition your mind to be able to embrace what is tragic, what is horrific, because that's what's coming. And so if they can get it to you early, particularly through film. I love film. I love the medium film. That's also a two-edged sword. If they can get you in film, bro, I mean, they're putting every message they can think of, jam-packing in these films. Everything, everywhere, all at once. You see that film?
No, not yet.
I want to watch it. I haven't seen it.
It's live, bro. It's lit. It's lit. It's definitely worth a watch. But literally, they put so much in that film, dude.
I believe it.
They jam packed
it. In the trailer.
Yeah, they jam. It's with Michelle Yeoh. Look it up. Everything, everywhere, all at once is what it's called. It's fascinating what they did and how they portrayed the space-time continuum thing and being it's a multiverse movie.
She's flying through walls and different things like
she's
that.
Going through it's showing her how she's existing simultaneously in all these different and all these different and the moral of the story is just showing how the decision I make in this situation right here can affect in another situation. So it's sweet, but they're jam-packing all this stuff in these films, man. But what they're really doing while they're entertaining us is they're telling us what's to come. You know what I'm saying? Because one of my favorite films is Ex Machina. That film is telling us what's already here. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about progressive thinking AI, that's already. I mean, that's probably 10 years and 20 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? If they had microwaves in the 50s and 60s and cell phones back then, I mean, come on, man. I mean, progressive thinking, advanced thinking technology that can look at you and identify you. Because I don't like this face recognition
Me
stuff.
neither.
I don't want,
I don't like that.
Yeah, so my thing is they can look at you and identify you and you know, take your face and put it in some kind of database. I mean, that stuff is scary to me, man. But we have to really focus on and not be distracted by everything that's going around us so much that we forget our humanity and forget what makes us human. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, if we forget it, we are serial killers. You know what I'm saying? To be just to be extreme.
And how do you protect that, right? Like then you're going to be another level of Amish people or Mennonites, right? You know, it will become that.
And
right?
maybe it may have to. I mean, we might have to invest in our own, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
little community or whatnot.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Our own little piece of land.
Yeah, which is not a bad idea.
Because I mean, dude, it's so crazy right now. And just think about all the people that are not having discussions like this.
Right.
Yeah.
There's people right now, man, that are literally on social media just doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to definitely probably be some medical issue down the road where people's wrists, it's going to be like a carpal tunnel thing. You know what I'm saying?
Their neck. There's actually
the neck
studies where, so when you're holding your phone, this pinky, so they're already anticipating that people are going to have dips in their pinkies as humans evolve. As humans evolve.
I believe it. That junk is going to be hooked.
Yeah. I'm dead serious. Listen, I am dead serious.
I believe it. I totally believe it. The neck, too.
They said the neck.
Yeah. We got like a hump. Go back to, seriously.
In order to make it easier for us to interact with our cyborg attachments that we have, everybody has in their pocket.
That is heavy, bro. But you know, that's the way evolution works, and I believe that. Because I mean, then we used to have tails. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
That's what they say. Yeah, some people are actually born with tails still.
Yeah. But man, it's imperative for us to embrace our humanity. That's just my thought. Yeah. Like daily, like. I mean, I check up on people I don't talk to that much. I'll do whatever I can to just stay connected in a way that's not synthetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, man, you're going to find yourself definitely, what did we mention earlier about just being distant and kind of like, I don't really got to talk to nobody no more. You know what I'm saying? This is great. I could just text people. I could send a picture for the birthday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I could send a gift card.
You know what's crazy is I think that whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know. I think that the pandemic fast forwarded exactly what you just described.
I agree with you on that.
I think that the whole pandemic. Everybody separate, isolate yourself, stay by yourself, stay in your house, blah blah blah. Order all your groceries online.
Yep.
It fast forwarded what was already well on its way.
Inevitable.
Yeah, I think it pressed the fast forward button by probably. I don't want to dare to try to throw a time frame on it, but it fast forwarded it for sure. Yeah. For sure, because the amount of people who, even to this day, it's August 2022 as of the time of this recording. The amount of people that right now, this day, are still concerned with coming out of their homes or being around their family and friends or finding themselves intentionally isolating now, even though the powers that be have said, y'all go outside, have fun. You know, just watch out for monkeypox.
Right.
The powers that be that have even given the people that, I guess you could say, the go-ahead to be around each other and congregate once again. There are those who are still, nope, can't be me. No, y'all ain't gonna get me with the corona, the COVID, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then there, of course, I don't want to cast a wide net and act like, you know, people who everybody thinks that is wrong. My point is that the fear, and this goes back to what we talked about one of the other times we were speaking, is that the fear, like you said, is currency. It allows them to press that fast forward and push that agenda further, a little quicker, so that people are more isolated to themselves, where the only recourse that they have is communicate via social media or over the phone. And there's, you know, limiting that in-person contact, that interpersonal relationships that we all need as human beings. It takes away from our humanity when we have to be by ourselves. That's not what we are meant to do at all. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, I just wanted to make that point that Corona did a number on humanity.
You did.
And not just by, you know, decreasing the population or making some people sick or giving people memory problems. It pushed the agenda of, and like I said, whether it's purpose or not, I don't know. I don't want to venture to speak on that, but it definitely pushed or made the agenda more easily possible for people to be able to separate from one another and lose that connection that we all should have.
Exactly.
You know, you there's when you were saying that made me I had to bring it up real quick. There was a quote from a book that I bought. It's called Obedience to Authority. And it's by Stanley Milgram, if anybody is interested in reading it. It's a very, very good book. And he says this quote. He says, "Control the manner in which a man interprets his world, and you have gone a long way toward controlling his behavior."
That's powerful.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's powerful.
And he knew this back in the 60s or whatever the case may be. He's the one that did the experiment on 6 degrees of separation. You know what I mean? So he sent a whole bunch of flyers out, and he ended up finding out that, you know, with among 6 people or 6 sects of people or whatnot, you will know someone within the 6 degrees of separation or whatnot. And this is important to know because like you're saying about the connection that we need, the humans, we desire some type of communication or personal touch connection. Or feel personal, social touch. And I think that's what makes us human regardless, any way it go. Like you give a child, like I think there was an experiment. Did we have this discussion before about there was an experiment where they took 10 kids, or it was a certain amount of kids, where mothers were loving on some and others for a little while that they didn't hold them, they didn't touch them, they basically fed them and just left them there without caressing them. They said that the one group who had the pampering and the touch and the feel, they've lived a little longer. You know, they've done extremely well in their lives versus the other ones that didn't really pan out very well, you know. And if anybody online that understand the study, you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong or whatever the case may be, but I do remember that study that was done. Even and this is the thing, even with animals, with nature itself, if nature knows how to protect its own and know how to nurture its own, and God has created us in his image and after his likeness, how come nature seems to be getting along a little bit better with their own and understand the cycle of things rather than us? You see what I'm saying? And
they don't think on the same level that we do.
Yeah, but how come we? Because I look at it like this, you know. When I look at Psalms, right? When I look at Psalms 19, Psalm says, "I look up in the heavens, I see the handiwork of God," right? And I look at everything that's displayed, right? This is David speaking, right? Centuries ago or whatnot. But us that are God's creation, what he desires most, at least in my mind, right, need to be given words to understand what to do to please him and to interact with one another. You know, animals or whatever the case may be, they flock amongst one another and they do pretty well. Of course, the predators are there, you know what I'm saying? But that's just the cycle of life or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But they seem to be very knowledgeable. Check this out. I looked at a squirrel the other day and I saw a squirrel. He had an acorn in his mouth, right? He went around and he dug a hole, he put it in there, covered it and ran on, right? You know what I'm saying? He came back later on and got that same acorn and went off. You know what I'm saying? It's like they know what storage is. They know, they have an understanding and they're wise enough to know where to come back to. They got a memory. They know how to store. They know how to invest. They know how to keep things stored for winter. They know how to do these things. That lets me know that a very small animal like that is given some type of knowledge. And that should be some credit to the creator itself. But when we say, I think I could duplicate that squirrel. You know what I'm saying? They say that I can make a clone of that squirrel. But we are so like, and I understand scientists, right? Like you're saying, like wanting to develop an AI or whatever the case may be. I get it. I get it. You want to see what you can do. You can push the boundaries. I absolutely get it. Regardless of the fact, you are behind. You are behind the creator. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You playing catch up. You playing catch up of something that's already been done. So it's already been established. The creator is the greatest engineer, the greatest scientist, the greatest ever that you can imagine. We're just playing catch up, man. That's kind of like how I feel. I mean,
that's good, that's the difference between humans and animals, because we are copies of that.
Yeah.
And so we're copies of him who created us. We're copies of God. And so our desire is to create like he creates. You know what I'm saying? Which is why we do these things that those who, I guess, I don't want to get on the ethical high horse, but I think that those of us who are able to point at it and say, yeah, that's probably wrong to try to recreate the human mind and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I don't think it's particularly appropriate because specifically for there's a bunch of reasons, but the main reason
it's probably not safe.
Exactly. It's because I think they're gonna end up killing us. Like,
but I get it.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get in trouble once y'all reach out.
But I honestly get it.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. Yeah. I get people saying, I wonder if I can do that.
Exactly.
Let me push the boundaries.
Yes.
I
How
get
far can I go?
Exactly.
Yes.
But it's like it's only so far the boat of arrogance is going to help yourself.
Right.
So my thing is, it almost seems like that squirrel or being primal is almost an advantage because it keeps you humble.
Right.
And I think when
pretty good.
Yeah, but when you find knowledge is destruction because with arrogance you get that knowledge to carry you through. The difference between a primate and us is that the standard now has been to use deceptive intelligence to rationalize thought. So everything that we do, we think, man, that's not a bad idea. Racism, it's not. I'm not being hurt by it. So if I'm not being hurt by it, I mean, hey, I don't care. Or if I create this synthetic human, I mean, I can use it to do good things, right? That's deceiving yourself.
That's interesting.
But I mean, it's fascinating.
Point,
it's a fascinating thing to live by, a creed to live by, because you will literally go through life telling yourself that everything that you do is good. When it's not, I mean, somebody's being hurt somewhere. The glass that they make for a cell phone, man, over in, I think, Indonesia or Thailand, there are children making these phones, and there's a chemical they use to wipe and clean it. They're dying from it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but we like our cell phones, though, and they're useful to help me through my life, right? But there's somebody somewhere making that, and they make pennies on $1 a day, and they die from possibly being overworked or working too young, and their life expectancy from being the age of 5 to 30, that's the window that they have. So that's one part of the world. But do we really care? Because, I mean, hey, but my thing is, I think that, like, the difference between that primal being and then where we're at on the food chain, they're kind of at the advantage, man. Because when you think about it, I mean, they exercise in their most basic form when we're trying to replicate God, replicate the Creator. I mean, why would you try and do that, man? I mean, how arrogant must you be to say, you know what, Creator, I think I could beat you at this game. I think I might be able to one up you on this. Yeah. I mean, we in this room, we don't get that that pleasure of thinking that way, but we know that there are the other male counterparts that kind of can go that direction. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the stuff that we're seeing with technology is just in its truest form. That's what that is. Yeah. It's just arrogance on a different scale, man. I mean, we are draining this planet of every resource, bleeding it dry, depleting every oil reserve, depleting every natural resource. Do you know there's a shortage of sand on the planet right now?
I heard about that.
Because the level of building we're doing with concrete and glass requires your basic ingredient is sand.
Silica.
Yep, as a hardener. We're depleting that because there's been an open resource all these years. Like you just go anywhere you want to get sand and use it. They're depleting sand on a scale that has never been seen before. Sand. So my thing is, when you look at that level of arrogance and greed, you know what I'm saying? The squirrel with the acorn, man, I mean, he's doing pretty good. Because, I mean, he just got his acorn.
Think about is how to eat.
I'm just trying to store this for the winter.
I got to store
and that's it.
That's it.
Eat, you know what I'm saying? When you get on the level of intelligence that we're at, bro, these dudes out here with these IQs, these engineers, these quantum physics guys, these guys are talking about stuff, dude, the space-time continuum, folding time. They figured out stuff, man, that, I mean, it's going to collapse on itself. Because the thing is, if you can create a thing that can think faster than you, can move faster than you, can outthink you, outpace you, eventually it's going to figure out how it doesn't need you in the way.
It does no longer need you.
That's what Skynet is, dude.
Yeah,
that's what the Terminator is. It's like, we don't need you. So let me put this back in time to go kill the creator, So
he says, what he says, Ultron in the comic books, right? It's the same thing. Let me save you from yourself.
Yeah. That's what's going on, man.
That's basically what's going on.
I mean, that's what's going on, bro. So,
You said something that stuck out with me, and I hope you can remember exactly the way you put it, because I don't. You said using deceptive intelligence to rationalize something.
Thought.
To rationalize thought.
That's powerful.
That's crazy. I thought immediately of the verse that says, "There's a way that seems right to a man."
Yep.
And the end thereof is destruction.
Right. Because dude, it's people that where racism feels is fine with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To oppress you and for you to have less so that I can have more. Yeah. For some people, that seems just fine, and they don't want you changing it. Mm-hmm. That's what this country runs off on. That's the real oil that this country runs on. Mm-hmm. Is to oppress you because of what you look like so that I can live. There are certain golf courses we cannot go to right now because of the way we look. And they want to charge you $30,000 a year, but your money they don't even want. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to take you from your thought. You were saying.
No, you're good. No, that was my point. I was just saying that it's wild how scripture that was written thousands of years ago is directly relative no matter what time you're in.
No matter what time.
You know what I mean? Yep. Because they're literally, it's a way, somebody's, like you said, somebody is rationalizing, okay, well, I can make these drones that can fly fast, that can, go anywhere and be completely silent so that they don't bother people, but they can bring people their groceries.
Yeah.
Or they can, go fly and kill Osama bin Laden or whatever. Yes, they can, but they can also go haywire and kill everybody on our block. Sure, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I like you said, exactly what you said. It's bound to collapse in on itself. Mm-hmm.
It's bound to. It has to. It can only go so far, man.
It can only go so far. Who knows how far it will go?
Yeah.
But at some point, there's no way that we will be able to.
Once it begins.
Yeah.
It's begun.
I'm talking about like the real revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Like the AI revolution.
Yeah.
How to turn it off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing.
Me and Gary had a conversation not too long ago about the frailty of humans.
Man, that's powerful, man.
If you think about, we're made of hamburger, man. Like, dude, listen.
I love
it. If you create a being that can think like we do, that has none of our weaknesses, and you allow it to be completely autonomous, or as autonomous as you can make it.
Yeah. They don't need health care.
How is that something that you don't see as a danger?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense to me, man.
Yeah, because I think to some people though, like again, like Elon was saying, your phone is already your cybernetic enhancement or augmentation. Some of them look at it like if I can replicate your mind in a body that doesn't decay, that doesn't get sick, that doesn't need healthcare, they look at that as a step up. Some of them are trying to improve on God's creation. Some of them are trying to improve on what we are and see if they can make us better by their definition. Right?
Okay, so then are you talking about like the transcendence thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of y'all who don't know, Al described it earlier. Transcendence is a movie with
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, where as he was dying, he made the choice to upload his consciousness into a computer, and then he basically tried to take over the world. But you're saying that this, I didn't know this. I'm a little shocked. I didn't know that. You're saying that the goal here is not to just create helpers or things to make our lives easier that are separate from us.
I'm saying eventually. I'm not saying that's what's happening right now, but I'm saying that is what I see as where they're going to eventually.
The next logical step.
I mean, wouldn't it be? Because it's like, where has mankind's endeavors ever been satisfied that we've achieved?
That's true, man.
Thank you.
That's true. That is so true,
and
man.
we're done.
That's it, man.
Right?
That's it.
Never stops.
It never stops.
As soon as we're able to accomplish something and we master that, we are on to the next thing. Like, what else can we do? What's next? What else can we make better? And if you can be the person to figure out a way to enhance humanity, that's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? That takes us not completely in a different direction. If the powers that be are looking for population control, then why in the world would they be simultaneously working to make humans immortal?
You think you would have access to that technology once they create it?
That's an illusion for us.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's an illusion for us, man. They only want a couple of them to make it.
But they want you as the workhorse. They want you to farm for the resources, right? We have value to them as far as we can bring value back. That's it. Once they find a way to get value without you being the one to do it, they don't have a need for you anymore.
Yep.
This is why you start seeing humans getting their jobs replaced by robots that can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? You're valuable to us until we don't need you anymore. Until we can make something that can do your job better, differently, full time without paying it, whatever the case is, or maintain it, cheaper. Go and put oil on the arm of this robot arm that's moving this part back and forth versus paying your health care and your insurance for a year. I'd rather put the oil on the machine and pay that little bit of money to do that. Right. Yeah. So as soon as they can find a way to replicate the way that we bring value, you're of no use to them anymore. And you're a value because you're a data center, right? Yeah. They can collect information. They can, like looking at, like you said, the pandemic, right? And looking at what the response was to various things, various news cycles, whatever the case is. They watch that. It's interesting. Right, and they can learn from, because you made a comment earlier. I'm trying to think exactly how you said it. Something about like social media, like taking away our agency or our ability to think for ourselves. They've long since known what that limit is. Long since known, because we've shown that in so many different ways. And I'll again fall back on religion as one way that we are more than happy to let somebody else do the thinking for us. So we don't have to be accountable for the results.
Obedience to authority.
Since known that. Yeah. So what they're not trying to collect that data right now. They already know that we don't want to think for ourselves. They know that we are more than willing. If you give us the convenience of, I don't have to think about that, and I don't have to worry about the results or the morality behind it. Yeah. We love that. We take that all day long. Yeah, the majority of the population does anyway.
Yeah. So check this out, man. Like, I was just reading Jeremiah 5:31 the other day. I think I told y'all, like, when it says that the priests bear rule by their means, it says the prophets prophesy falsely, the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
And to add on,
be cognizant of that, man.
That's right.
To what you said about that, a tester to make people kind of docile is you create a pandemic, right? And then, you give them unemployment and a stimulus check just to make them lazy. So then when the pandemic is over, a lot of people don't want to work anymore. But by that time, you got your robots flipping burgers. They got a vending machine point. I think they're testing it overseas where when you pull up to order your fast food, you just do the touch screen. When you get up there, there's a conveyor belt or something that's going to just put the robot will put it together, the conveyor belt will bring it to the window. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that's going to work. They've conditioned it to work because there are people, unless you are, somebody that's probably from another country that wants to come over here and will do any type of job, the people that have been here all their life do not want to do that work anymore. We've been conditioned that way for probably the last 20 years. To like the smaller jobs, we don't want to do them anymore. So that's where the robots are going to start. And then it's going to work its way up from there. And the only way you can escape that is if you if your mind can allow it, get on the other side of that. Programming, developing, anything dealing with software. You can be on that side of it to whatever capacity, even if you're on a service that's taking calls to accommodate people that are going to just be lost in technology. That's where you might want to be because, my goodness, man, they have conditioned us to embrace what's happening while they're doing it to us. They're conditioning us to just go ahead and take it. And the masses, I can promise you this because my experience with the work that I do shows me that there's going to be a massive amount of people that are going to be willing to fall into that because they hate technology so much. And then on the same token, they don't want to do certain types of work. So wherever you put me, that's where I'll deal with. If I got to change garbage at a building every night, if I got to clean toilets, I'll do that because I don't want to work hard anymore. If I could hustle online some kind of way, I'll do that. That's the mindset that they want you to have so that they can inject the other agenda, of whatever devices they want to use to do the jobs that they're going to have them do. So
I totally agree with that, man.
Yeah. So
building a docile population.
Yeah, it's working, dude. So you got TikTok, you got all these other doggone social medias that turn your brain to mush, make you be savage to one another online. And so that's one thing, and that's the perfect distraction, man. And then, see, for me, I like movies. I don't like series. I can't spend my life watching series, man. But they want you to because it consumes more of your time. Whatever can consume more of your time, man. If I give you 13 episodes, that's 13 episodes that I can keep you distracted while I'm doing this. Like we're children. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I can only contribute 2.5 hours to a film, and I got to get on with my life and do other things and continue to build because I can't be distracted. You know, it's so many distractions, man, and they love it, and we love it. They love it, and we love it. So everybody's happy. But when that bomb hit, everybody gonna scatter. And it's like, what do we do now? I mean, it's happening. You know, the bomb. It's a slow bomb dropping. You know what I'm saying? It ain't coming fast. It's just a slow bomb. You know, they sending out all these little bombs.
Yeah, it's a meteorite that's sending the little fragments.
Little fragments out, you know, and nobody. I'm gonna tell you, my favorite film right now that really depicts that is Don't Look Up.
Oh, I watched it,
dude. I love that movie.
It's how did you like it?
I love
that movie.
I loved it. I love the very ending of it. Because I'm like, if it's got to be a certain way, I want to be with the people I love at a dinner table, eating a meal, and we just chopping it up.
I love that movie.
But I love every aspect of it because while it was absolutely hilarious, what we see in real life is hilarious. Absolutely. I mean, if you got a guy that could say that the election was rigged and we know he lost, and then you have a group of people that actually believe him, you know how scary that is? You know how powerful ignorance is and how scary it is when you can get people to believe a lie as if it was God given, and you have an army of people that believe that lie. We can all be friends, but you roll over me, stuck behind these bars. I need to stretch my wings amongst the stars, yet my feathers